we are here in the smaller one of the two BMW wind tunnels, is concepted for 1:2 model scale measurement and also for 1:1 testing. We have here a one belt system, and the tunnel is able to run up to 300 kph. For motorsport vehicles, aerodynamics is a key factor for the performance. Regarding track results, the drag value is limiting top speed, and the downforce is very important for the cornering speeds. Third thing is the drivability of a race car. This is the downforce relation between the front and the rear axle of a car. For the DTM series, the regulations considering the aerodynamics are very tight. That means, as an aerodynamicist, we have only some small areas where we are completely free, and to focus on these areas and to explore the tight regulations with creative features or detail optimization, this is the challenge to develop this car. Before we start a session, the car is delivered, we bring it to the belt, and during a test run, when the wind is on and the belt is moving, we measure the forces, the aerodynamic forces which acts on the car, and with these measured forces we judge the aero performance and also the configuration we have in the tunnel, and therefore we develop the car for the racetrack.
This gearbox is a transaxle gearbox, like compared to Formula 1, a bit similar. We have normally 6 forward gears, and the differential is implemented in the gearbox. So big differences in the shift system. We have in the Formula 1, it's like a hydraulic system. We have very quick shifts. Compared to DTM, it's quite similar. DTM, we have a pneumatic shift system, and in the WTCC, it's a manual shift. And also in the WTCC, we have the rear axle in the back of the car. In total, we have about 180 parts. It's about 160 in the gearbox and about 20 in the bell housing. It's a big joy. It's a very big joy because we have to have a special look on the gearbox, try to get everything work, and try to optimize the work on the track for the mechanics, which makes it quite interesting.
Also er hat gesagt, am besten ist es, wenn man den Raum hier drin noch einen Cluster einzuführen.
When you separate things.
Mal umschauen, ob das läuft.
It's very important for every driver to have their own bespoke seat made for them, because we all sit differently in a car. You know, we're all a different size and a different shape, and we all have our own comfort zone of where we like to sit in a car. And it's even more important in a race car, because you're driving at the extreme, and it's very important to be not only seated correctly, but that you're supported correctly as well, so that you're safe inside the car, and that you feel almost connected to the car as well, so the driver can feel the car as he's driving around the racetrack. Yeah, how we start the process is we have our bag liner, our system ready to go with no resin in the bag, so we can fit it to the car, and it's an opportunity for the driver to understand the process. And for me, it's important that I know that I've got the correct volume of bead material inside the bag, and I can get an understanding of where the driver initially would like to sit in the car. That's how we start the process. Once we have the correct bead volume, I then add the resin and hardener mixture, and we then mix that through the bag, so we've got a nice even mix of resin through the bag mixed with the beads, and then we repeat the process. So we put the bag back inside the cockpit and we sit the driver in, and then we've got approximately an hour to work with the driver to find his optimum seating position. So it's a great opportunity for the driver to be able to relax and take his time to get the exact position he wants. So we can check that he has the correct lumbar support, that he's sitting square to the steering wheel and to the pedals, that his legs are properly supported, that his shoulders and his rib areas also have good support, and that he's comfortable. Once we've got to that stage and the driver is happy, we then have a waiting time of approximately 3 to 4 hours, which gives us the time for the resin to cure properly. After that time, then we can start trimming the seat. So we take off any excess material, then we can cut out any holes for the lap belts and for the crutch belts, make any small, remove any material that may also get in the way of the hands device, and also for the shoulder belts. And we can also then make sure that the driver has got no interference from the seat, so when he's trying the steering wheel from lock to lock, that the seat is not interfering with his elbows. So we can check all that at that time, and then after that, the best process is for the driver to then test the seat on track to make sure that on the circuit he is happy with the seat. Once he's happy, then we'd go ahead and cover the seat with our material. Okay, this is a seat that we've made earlier for Andy Prio. As you can see, we've covered the seat now. It's covered in a fire-resistant, breathable, antibacterial fabric, which again is something that we believe offers an added advantage to the driver in terms of safety and comfort. As you can see, we've got quite significant rib support areas, which are important for lateral support for the driver, especially through cornering, whether it's a long corner or a high G corner. The fact that the driver is supported by the seat, he's not as reliant on the harness itself to help keep him in position. You can also see between his legs we've built up a centrepiece. Again, this is to provide lateral support through cornering, and also to provide support for the driver over a long endurance race. Again, it's part of the seat working for the driver, rather than him having to use his own body strength on an area where he doesn't need to. So they're the main areas. It's a lot of effort goes into making sure that the seat is providing support around the shoulder area, as I said, around the ribs. We like to build up the side supports on the legs, again for support mainly. and then the sort of finishing touches again is just by adding individual logos to finish the seat off and the stitching. But it's this is a lot of work goes into the whole process. It's not a simple 10-minute job. It's quite a labour-intensive. A couple of days go into it, but ultimately it's a much better product.
Absolute special day. I mean, okay, gorgeous weather as well, but it was from the get-go really the goal. We had intensive weeks now behind us for everybody to get the car together, get the rollout on the way, and therefore also bring all the people here, give them the direct reward, show them the car running for the first time, and really show them this is your baby, and keep the motivation high. There is a lot ahead of us still. We have a lot of work to do, and I think with this event now, the people hopefully are motivated again to keep pushing as we need to. Rollout is basically a function check, make sure all the systems are working properly, obviously keeping all the systems happy, cooling everything, also the driver, making sure that his position is okay in the car, that he is comfortable driving, because obviously that's preparation for a first test event, which we will have shortly, and therefore we need to make sure systems are working okay so that we can do testing efficiently. Extremely proud. You really have to say the last weeks and months have been extremely tense. We have a lot of projects, running projects as well, and to be able to take care of those running projects and really make big steps also in those projects, and at the same time develop this car from scratch, I think is really extremely impressive and needs all the respect from all of us for the guys that have done that job. I love it. It's fantastic. It looks great. When I saw it for the first time, I was really deeply impressed, emotional. This is a fantastic race car, and I think it will show. We've obviously already done some testing in July, and so far I think we're quite happy. It's obviously the first time that we're out with all three teams now all together. Logistically quite demanding, I have to say, and also from organizational point of view. But as far as the first day went today, I think we can be quite happy. A lot of things, all three cars on different programs, a little bit of tire testing, bit of aero, bit of temper, setup work, general setup work, still understanding the car, operating with the car, so quite a variety of things that is going on. Well, the list of things that we need to do is really getting longer by the day in the end, you can say, and yeah, still a lot of work ahead of us. The teams now all have one car, so they get more understanding how to operate it, how to improve things on the operational side, and on development side there is a load of things that still need to be done.
Yeah, really good, really positive day. It's really nice to be back in the car after 1 month with no driving, so very positive, and I think we've made good progress today. I mean, every car has a different program, but everything from dampers to tyres to aero. It's a very complex car, and we have a lot of learning to do. So each car needs to have its own separate program, and we bring the information together at the end of the day. Well, it's generally everything. You need to find more grip, more performance from the engine, more performance from the aerodynamics. And as I say, we expect to have to work extremely hard to be able to compete at the high level. So we need to push very hard. And I don't think we'll see the true performance of our competition until the first qualifying and the first race next year. So that's hard for us because we have to try and understand what the level is. But without qualifying the car, it's difficult to know.
Wow, we are testing all different components on the car. We have 3 cars running with 3 different programs. So every car is focused in a particular point. There is performance, there is, I don't know, aerodynamic, mechanical, or engine. it's a little bit of overall improvement because it's a brand new car and there is a lot of areas to improve. Therefore, we have to split the program, and I think we are fulfilling all the job. It's, as I said, it's quite early to predict the season, but I can see we well prepared at the first race in Hockenheim. It's a brilliant car. I mean, especially because I was involved since the beginning of the project, so I'm really experienced all the steps, all the improvements in the car, and that's something unique. It's something very special for the driver. The new BMW M3 Dtm car is a very important car for BMW. M3 has been in the years a very sportive and a very nice car, even the road cars. If you go back to 80s when the M3 starts, and all the M3s on the years has been all successful, and this DTM M3 I'm sure will be as well. So I'm happy and I'm enjoying every lap.